All right, I am here with the 11th ranked UFC featherweight contender Bryce Mitchell, who will be taking on Movsar Evloev at UFC 288 on May 6th. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule with me. And I was wondering, how's it going, man? How are you feeling leading up to arguably one of the biggest fights of your career coming up in a few weeks?
Well, brother, thank you for having me today. I'm feeling healthy, and if you're healthy, you're wealthy. You know what I'm saying? So I can't complain, and everything's great, brother. I'm gonna
Oh,
put these
absolutely, man.
sweatpants. I'm sitting here in my boxers. I'm about to put some pants on real quick because it got cold. It's like hot during the day, but cold at night in Arkansas
Well,
right now. Where
oh,
you?
well, you at least you got that. I'm here and down, sunny South Florida, so it's hot and muggy 24/7. So I need
Wow.
some of that cool air.
But yeah, that
But
temperature was like I went to Florida probably about a month ago, dude. It was perfect.
yeah, I mean, but now it's getting pretty hot out here, man. It's like in
No,
the
I believe that.
90s. It's getting a little too hot. But talking about your fights and what's going on that just happened. Jonathan Pierce just pulled out of your fight. Tell us, what led to that, and when did you actually hear that he pulled out of the fight?
Shoot, most of y'all probably heard before I did. But it was probably about I don't know, maybe a week ago. I found out all of this stuff that Jonathan pulled his ACL, and he can't do it, brother. They had to find somebody, and I'm lucky because Movsar Evloev stepped in.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I know it kind of sucks, but like, what was going through your mind during, when you heard that, and you didn't know if you're still going to be on UFC 288 and who your opponent's going to be? Like, what was your train of thought when you got all this news?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really upset or nothing. I just trusted in the Lord that the Lord has a plan. I just started praying about it, and I'm just not really worried about it because I knew that, I've just grown to trust Him, and that stuff's out of my control. And you've probably heard it a million times. You just can't worry about stuff that you can't control. If not, you'll go crazy. You know what I mean? So I just trusted in the Lord, and I think He's setting me up for a victory, a big one.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is arguably a bigger fight than what you were getting with Jonathan Pierce. I mean, there's more at stake in this one. It's arguably a tougher fight, maybe. It depends on how you think of it. But when they called you about Jonathan Pierce actually pulling out of the fight, did they give you a couple of names that they were trying to reach out to, or they just said they'll come back to you when something possibly comes up in the next couple of days?
They said that they would come back to me. They didn't throw out any names initially, and Mavsar was the first person they asked, and that they asked me about, and I said, "Hey, let's do it. I'm good to go."
Yeah, you didn't even second guess it, right? You were just like, doesn't matter who it is, when it is, or anything of the sort. You're just like, Mosar is it. Let's go, right?
That's the way to do it, brother. I mean, that's how I've always been, and like I said, I just trusted the Lord, and there's nothing else to it than that. Just trusting in the Lord, brother.
Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup? How is this matchup different than what you were getting ready for with Jonathan Pierce?
Well, this guy likes to go to the ground. Jonathan Pierce likes to stand up more. Jonathan kicks a little bit more. I think Imolov punches a little bit more. So, and he's shorter and has a little bit more muscle, and just a little bit different matchup. But I just have a little bit different strategy.
I like it. I like it. Does fighting someone? I don't want to say too similar in Ilya Taporia, but similar stature, great on the ground, both good with the grappling game. Do you think a fight with him, gets you ready for someone like Evloev, even on short notice?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. These guys that I've been fighting are the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's got to be part of God's plan. He's preparing me for the future. If I can't pass these tests, then I'm not ready for what's in the future. And so I think it was meant to be.
Absolutely. Coming into this matchup, like you said, you had to kind of switch the game plan a little bit. Did you have to switch your training partners? Are you working with the same guys that were helping you with Jonathan Pierce for Evloev in this fight?
I'm working with the same guys. I don't really have the option of switching the training partners. I just work with the same people year round, and every now and then, if I travel, I'll get to switch up the training partners. But in general, I have a very small circle, and that's really how I like it because I know it sounds stupid if you're thinking, well, then you're never gonna progress. You're never gonna learn new things, and that's just simply not the case. I've progressed so much over the years. I beat the shit out of myself when I was 21 years old. I'm 28 now, and I've trained with basically the same people the whole time. And the reason in there is because there's only a handful of people that you can trust. I mean, and it's that simple. The trust is more important than somebody's skill level. Uh, when you're talking about training for a fight with people, you want to make sure those people ain't going to hurt you. You want to make sure those people ain't going to try to expose any type of potential weakness. That they're not going to use you. Um, Man, and most people, man, they just don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? Or if you go into the gym, they want to hurt you. They want to say, "Hey, I beat up a UFC fighter." They could care less about you. So I like to train with people that I actually like.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. You want to keep your circle close to you, and you don't want people to have too much ego. It's like a family. You know, and I'm sure you have a close knit group over there in Arkansas, and it works for you. And like you said, you've grown a ton since on the Ultimate Fighter, man. I mean, you've been it since then, and look where you are now. So I guess what's not broke don't break. You know what I mean? Talking about Evloev, he's a guy that's really kind of quiet, doesn't really talk too much, but I'm not sure if you saw the post that he tagged you in over the weekend after, Max Holloway won, and beat Arnold Allen, saying that he's coming after Max Holloway after he goes through you, calling you hillbilly and this and that. I was wondering what your thoughts on his subtle trash talk over the weekend because he's not somebody that really trash talks. It was kind of odd to see him go to Twitter and just take a subtle shot just before the fights.
Well, he's not really been subtly doing it, and that's a word that's always confused me. Subtle, because it's spelled like subtool, so I don't even know if I'm using it right. But uh, here's the thing: is like he's straight up shit talking me, man. He called me a coward. He's. I've never actually had another fighter talk as much shit as him. So when they offered his name, I was really really happy, brother, because I'm just so mad at this motherfucker for saying all this stupid shit about me. He's done commented on every one of my posts there for like now this was a month or two ago or 3 months ago, I don't know. But dude, he was like stalking me on the damn internet and he had all these little Russian fucking robots or whatever commenting on my posts saying they're gonna kill me and burn my farm down, and he's just a bully, man. He's not a nice guy. And what else can I say? I would rather fight a guy who's a complete jackass than somebody who's really nice.
Yeah, it's just crazy because I mean, his English in his text is perfect, but like when we listen to his interviews, it's quite different. So it's always different to me whether it's actually him portrayed on his social media accounts or not. But that's for a different story, a different day. But like I said, there's some animosity here. So this is a fight that you really wanted before the end came to you. Like let's say you got through Jonathan Pierce, right? Was Evloev on your radar no matter what, even if you were to face Pierce and get through him?
Well, when we say on the radar, I mean like I personally want to fight him, but I also have zero control. You got to remember, I'm like lower level than a pawn to the UFC. You know what I mean? I'm even lower than a pawn. I have zero control over who I fight. They offer me stuff and I say yes. I've never said no to nobody, and I just don't feel like they're gonna give me any fights that would be in the top five anyways. So there's really not a more preferable option. He's a guy that I don't like, and it'll get me recognized for beating him because he's a worthy opponent. And so that's why I want to fight him, And like I said, I have no option. I have no, I can't just turn down fight after fight after fight. And like I said, I've never done that anyways. But yeah, I'd rather fight him, and I'm actually happy about the matchup. And I think that JSP pulling out. The only thing I hate about that is that the dude's knee is messed up. I don't really wish that upon nobody. And even the guys that call me cowards, I don't sit here and wish that they have injuries. I wish that I get to give them the injuries in the fight.
I want to end this interview with some fan questions, guys. That people that want to ask you a couple questions. So our first
hmm
question we got from Carlos Herrera, who's asking, "What was the biggest deer that you've killed?"
Well, I've cleaned a 8-point deer before. I found it on the road though, so that I didn't kill it. That was roadkill. But biggest deer I've killed probably 6-pointer, 100 something pounds. I'm not a trophy hunter. I'll shoot a doe and that's just fine with me. But you know, um, biggest one 8-pointer that I found on the side of the road.
that's, that's a good one. All right. So our next question is from Jesse Hobson. He's saying, looking back, if you could do it all over again, would you have pulled out of the Ilya Taporia fight knowing that you were sick?
Yes, if I would have known how messed up I was, I would have pulled out. But I didn't know until the first round that I was just completely out of energy. And but um, it was part of my destiny, and I'm completely different since that fight. Not only have I trained harder, but I'm spiritually stronger. And what the devil did is try to make me weak, make me turn from my faith, and all it did was make my faith stronger. And this fight is going to be different than any other fight you've ever seen. I promise. Okay, I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to do, brother, but if since you believe in Jesus just like me, I can guarantee you're going to be happy with what I do this fight. You've never seen it done in an MMA fight before. You've never seen it done. Okay? And if it was not for my last fight where I feel like the devil had some type of play in it, then I wouldn't have challenged my faith, and my faith wouldn't be as strong as it is today. But like I said, the most important thing that happened from that last fight is that my faith in God has become stronger. I trust God more. And the devil wanted it to be the opposite. The devil wanted me to say, "Oh, God, he cursed me. Oh, I hate God. Blah, blah, blah." No, my faith in God has got stronger. And I'm telling you, I'm going to do stuff that's never been done before in this whole sport. And it's because I had that last loss. It made me stronger spiritually. And it's part of my destiny.
And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. But my last question is,
You'll know it immediately. You'll know it immediately. When you see it, you'll say this has never been done. You'll know immediately that I'm gonna exalt the highest of the high, brother. It's
even
never been done before how I'm gonna do it, and I can't wait,
oh man, even better than the Twister.
brother. This is better than anything on this earth. Is what I'm about to do. I'm about to exalt the name of the highest.
I love it. I love to hear it. All right, I got one last question, and that's from Jeremy Willett, who's asking, "What are your thoughts on open scoring, and if you would like to see it implemented in the UFC? You know how bad the judging has been, quite honestly, the last couple of years. So, what do you think about open scoring? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts?"
I really do like it. um, it would have its own little set of problems, because there would be some disagreements, mid fight. But I personally like it. I like to know, am I winning? Am I losing? And I think that more good would come than the bad that comes out of it. Every other sport, there's live scoring. So I just really think it would be natural to progress towards that. But there is going to be some bad things that come out of it because the real problem ain't the open scoring. The real problem is the piss poor judges. Yeah, well, that's a problem. The real problem is the bought off judges. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
They
Hmm.
operate in secrecy. Let me say that one more time. The real problem is poor judges. The real problem is the bought off judges. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says about me. I don't give a fuck. I tell you right now, some of these judges are bought the fuck off because you cannot come to the conclusions that they have reached without a little bit of money lining your pocket. I'm just telling you, these motherfuckers are as bought off as Joe Biden.
Oh man, I mean, I have no comment on the truth to any of that, but I mean, we've seen some pretty bad judging over the last couple of years, so you
I know
know,
there's truth. I know there's truth to it. I absolutely know that there's truth to it. And I can't name no names. I can't say nothing, but I know what I've been told, and I trust my sources.
well, that's interesting to know. But I don't want to take any too much of your time here. I appreciate you, coming on after, working out and getting some time into the gym and gearing up for a huge, fight here at UFC 288. Before I let you go, if you have any sponsors, anybody you want to shout out, the floor is yours, and I appreciate your time here with me tonight.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for help spreading the word. I want to thank Realtree, Big Lee, Jocko, at my bookie. Man, there's just so many great sponsors out there that have helped me over the years. And it's hard to think of them right off the top of my head. But man, a huge one lately has been marbled meat. I've been eating all this meat that's so good, bro. It's from Montana, and
Oh man,
it's really helped me this fight camp. But this shit is so good, bro. I've been eating it raw. Like I
really,
trust this. It's called marble meat, bro. I've been getting this shit and just chopping it up and swallowing it, bro. I don't even chew the shit. I chop it into small bites and just swallow it. But the marble meat, it's such good quality, dude. It's not like some Walmart shit. Like
right,
you can literally take this beef. It's so dark red, bro, and so fucking just delicious looking. I chop it up into small pieces and I just eat it raw because I don't feel like cooking. And sometimes I cook it. Like if they give me a good steak, I'll cook it. But this marbled meat, brother, from Montana, you just chop that shit up and eat it raw like a caveman, dude. It's that clean. It ain't processed and stabbed with all these vaccines and hormones and all this shit, bro. It's just good quality meat. And so I just want to
really.
thank all the yes, brother. And I want to thank all these people. And if there's any other sponsors I forgot, it's just because I couldn't think of them right off the top of my head. But dude, I just love my sponsors, brother. I wouldn't be living my life the way I do without them. The fighters depend on sponsors, man. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that. You take away sponsors, there goes fighting. Right there. Fighters live off of sponsorships.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. We'll speak soon. You have a good one.
Okay, brother.